We got breaking news in college football. Former Georgia quarterback JT Daniels is transferring to West Virginia. He told ESPN that he called the Mountaineers coach Neil Brown with the news Wednesday morning. He was, by the way, 7-0 as a starter for the Bulldogs, but lost that starting job to Stetson Bennett, who, by the way, just went on to lead Georgia to that national championship earlier this year. So Daniels started his college career at USC before initially transferring to Athens 2 years ago. But as I mentioned, undefeated, 7-0, completion percentage there at 70% and just under 260 and 17 touchdowns to 5 in that ratio. So not so bad, but decided to take his talents. Look, it's hard to sit up here and sit behind the guy who just won the Natty. So he had to go bye-bye, heading to West Virginia now. Want to bring in senior college football writer Dennis Dodd with more on this, and JT Daniels deciding to go from Georgia to West Virginia here. Your reaction to this news today?
Yeah, not surprising. I mean, he was shopping himself for a place where he could go to start. I know Missouri was deep in on him. They thought they had a chance. West Virginia, this is a great get for Neil Brown, Jarrett Daggy leaving, and they needed a difference-making quarterback, especially since him starting out, talking about Neil Brown at West Virginia, only 17-18 in 3 seasons. So it's been kind of a middling start. And you know, in the Big 12, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. Now, JT Daniels comes in with a little bit of a sullied, I guess, on-field reputation. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. He got beat out by Stetson Bennett. But let's remember this guy's history. He was a 5-star, close to being the #1 recruit out of USC, out of Southern California a few years ago, and did not last at USC. Played for Georgia for a couple of years, as you mentioned, 7-0. But I think with a fresh start at Georgia, at West Virginia, he's going to be fine. This is a picture, Brandon, of the modern college quarterback, at least the top 5 college quarterback. He's on his 3rd school. I think he's going to graduate. From what I've heard, he's going to stay at Georgia, graduate, get out in May, and then head right on to Morgantown.
We see it there, USC 6-6, but he does have some familiarity when it comes to that coaching staff. Graham Harrell was there with him with the Trojans. Now here at West Virginia, how much did that kind of impact his decision there?
I think Neil Brown and that offensive coordinator, Graham Harrell, being there is huge. He's got to get his mojo back. One thing I didn't mention is obviously his problem with injuries. The knee at USC, multiple problems at Georgia. He's just got to stay on the field because you've seen when he's out there, he is good. That was a 6-6. He was 6-6 at USC. Those weren't great USC teams. He didn't have a great offensive line in front of him. But when he has time to throw, he's the normal, perfect pocket passer. You're not going to get much running out of him. And I think in his last season of eligibility, I think he's got a lot to prove. I think he's going to be motivated.
Dennis, realistically, of course, we can look at the numbers from what we saw last year, 7-0. We understand the metrics there, what he provides. But if you're looking at the Mountaineers, how much better does he make them in that Big 12? Because, look, they don't play defense there, but the offense are always good no matter what team it is.
Well, that's it. He can be a gunslinger. And when you go to places like Texas and Oklahoma for now, when you have to go across the country, let's not forget West Virginia. Its closest Big 12 rival is 1,000 miles away in Ames, Iowa, at Iowa State. You need some way to compete in weather when you're traveling in those road games. When you got to get your mojo back. I mentioned that. They don't have much of a running game. And as I mentioned, 17-18, Neil Brown in 3 seasons. I think he can be a difference maker just to get to a bowl game, just to get something back at West Virginia, because we've seen in the past what West Virginia can be. And with a changing Big 12, obviously in the future, that, he's not going to be part of it. JT Daniels is not going to be part of it, but maybe he sets them on an upward directory in the future.
We'll see what happens there. Of course, Daniels now taking his talents to West Virginia. Dennis Dodd, appreciate your time with that breaking news from Georgia to the Mountaineers. Something interesting we should see there. Don't forget the conversation will continue. The Cover 3 podcast, the fellas breaking that down per usual. This may be on the latest one. JT Daniels, of course, 7-0 in Georgia. Question mark, what is he going to be ... for the Mountaineers? Can they contend now in the Big 12? Maybe get it out of that middle of the pack hurdle there. Download, by the way, and give the guys a follow.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.